If you're feeling a little bit low, a little bit frustrated, a little bit angry, a little bit trapped, this video is for you. This is my self-love wisdom as part of my Cocoon and Cuppa series while we're all experiencing this lockdown, which I like to call cocooning. Yeah, bit of wisdom to share with you today. Who's joining? Let me know when you've arrived. If you're on Facebook, can you say hi? And yeah, just say hi, Katie, and then I can see who you are and we can catch up. If you're on Instagram, I should be able to see you, but say hi as you arrive. That would be wonderful. Yeah, today is self-love wisdom. Hi, Sophie. Good to have you, darling. Hi. So it's all change here in my household. We had our puppy arrive this week. Hello, Sana. And his name is Boomer, and he is a little bundle of joy and gorgeousness and cuteness. And yeah, I mean, he's absolutely beautiful. And getting a puppy is something that I've been thinking about, feeling into, pushing away for years, and we finally went for it, and my whole world has changed in like 4 days. Completely. So there was me in my happy little flow, in my cocooning, managing my business, working with my clients, being with the kids off school, hi Fee, and we had a pretty good flow going, and then in comes Boomer with a bang, and life as I knew it has completely changed. Completely. And it's really interesting to notice that, you know, with change, it can bring up all our shadow stuff, right? It can bring up our stuff. Change can show us where we, quite frankly, from my perspective right now, change is showing me where I need to love myself more. All this change is just showing me where I need to love myself more. Hello, Liz, darling. Good to see you. Fee, you're enjoying the pictures of Boomer. Yeah, I mean, he's he's picture perfect, this dog. He's particularly cute. Cuter than I imagined that he was going to be. And it's kind of thrown a curveball into my world, and I am absolutely being invited to work my tools. I am working my tools. But what's been really interesting to notice, that wasn't my initial go-to. So this whole self-love wisdom isn't about me sitting here and telling you how down and perfect I've got this whole kind of self-love thing. No. This is where I'm being real and human and honest, and I'm here to tell you that my go-to this week, when it all felt hard and I was freaking exhausted and I was finding it really, really difficult to do homeschooling and puppy stuff. I've never had a dog before. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm literally figuring it out day by day. You can read all the books, you can watch the videos, you can take all the advice, and then every dog is like having a baby. Every baby is individual, and you got to just work with it. And anyway, I can't remember what I was saying now, but my go-to was to hide away upstairs for about half an hour every evening in the bath. So I'd run a hot bath. I put my iPad, I've got a special little setup, which I actually had purposefully created, where I can put my iPad at the end of the bath. And I went to my sort of guilty pleasure Netflix, and Working Mums is a series that I love, and they've just released a new series. So it was bath at about 6 o'clock, bath, Netflix, glass of wine. Numb out. I was like, everybody, Mama needs a break. And I was up to the bath. So I did that for the first couple of nights of Boomer being here. And I didn't go to my tools. I stopped meditating in the morning. I didn't journal in the morning. I didn't go for my walks. I didn't go for yoga. Now, and I'm telling you, like, this is only, the dog's been here, this is like day 4 now. only day 4. The first couple of days, that's what I did. And it only took a couple of days of me not working my tools, allowing myself to fall into victim, as in, just feeling like kind of I've been a bit put upon, it's all too much, I can't cope, how am I going to deal with this? Like, that's the kind of stuff that was going through my head. And yeah, it was only 2 days of not working my tools, not doing what I know to do, and falling backwards. So you might want to call that falling off the wagon. And resorting in the evenings. And it was just half an hour of Netflix and wine. But that is what I needed. And what was interesting though to notice was that because I did that, I kind of was beating myself up. Like in the moment, I was like, yeah, I deserve this. This is all good. This is just what mama needs right now. And there was another voice that was saying, Katie, you know better, and you shouldn't be doing that. So then it was a double whammy. I was finding everything difficult. I was finding all the change difficult. And then I was giving myself a hard time for taking the time out to spend time with me that wasn't particularly healthy, like if you want to judge it. I didn't go for a nice walk. I didn't go do some yoga. I didn't go and have another meditation or even my first meditation of the day. I didn't work my tools. I resorted to Netflix and wine. So it was kind of a double whammy. And I just wanted to tell you that because I'm figuring it out as I go along too sometimes. But what's really cool is it only took a couple of days of me kind of falling off the wagon to bring myself back and remember, okay, you've fallen into some old behavior. Don't beat yourself up. That's the number one. It was like acknowledging, I've fallen into some old behavior, acknowledging everything's changed, acknowledging you're finding it really hard. So really, I just had to spend some time with myself and my journal and sit down and write and be like, I'm finding this really hard. I don't think I'm adapting to the change particularly easily. And it was funny, someone commented on Facebook the other day when I posted the pictures of the puppy and they said, oh, you're living the dream. I read it and went, am I? How is this living the dream? And it's interesting because, it's that whole thing of what we project on social media can come off like that. But it hadn't been my experience. And so I just needed to write, like, I don't feel like I'm living the dream. I have no routine. I have no plan. Everything, the way I've been going about my day-to-day life for all the way through this pandemic has completely shifted. I don't know what I'm doing. And I feel really lost. I feel alone. I feel resentful. I just really went there in my journal. I just acknowledged, like, I don't have a handle on this. I've not been feeling great with this. And that felt so good. It just brought tears to my eyes because instantly I was like, oh my God, I'm just acknowledging myself. Oh my God, like that feels so good to just fully acknowledge me. Just acknowledge me. This is where I'm at. Until I put pen to paper and fully acknowledged myself, I was trapped in the victim mindset that was going around and around. I was giving myself a hard time for not having it all sorted. But as soon as I acknowledged I don't have it sorted, the voice changed. Can you feel the difference? There's a difference between having it go around and around saying, you haven't got it sorted. You don't know what you're doing. What are you doing? Figure it out. That's sort of what was going on. And the wine and the Netflix just numbed that out. But then when I stepped back and got my journal and was honest and I actually acknowledged I don't have the answers. I don't know what to do. I'm feeling lost in this. I'm not handling the change particularly well. As soon as I did that, it just felt so self-loving. It was full acknowledgement, zero judgment. And as I was acknowledging it, then it kind of hit me. It was like, oh my God. Could I just let myself off the hook? Could I just let myself off the hook? Sorry, you're noticing I'm looking at 2 cameras, so bear with me. I was like, yeah, yes, I'm just going to let myself off the hook. It has been so interesting to notice like I said in the beginning, change can bring up our shadow stuff. And it was so interesting to notice that my shadow is this perfectionist voice that tells me I should have everything under control. I should have all the answers. I should be sorted all the time. I should be able to just adapt. Other people adapt. Other people get puppies. What's the big deal? And so it was really nice to go back to basics. And that's really the wisdom I think I want to share today. It's let's just go back to basics. If you can at all relate to any element of what I've shared, and I don't think I'm alone, like this is my personal little challenge this week. It's probably been my first challenge throughout this whole pandemic. I know people that have got little kids at home, like same as having a puppy. I mean, constant. That's been a challenge for them, but you're going to be having your challenges, whatever they are. We're all having our challenges right now. Can we just give ourselves a break? Can we just give ourselves a break? Can we notice when we've got this thing going around and around in our head that's saying, you should have this figured out, you should have the answers, you should be dealing with this better, with all that you know, with all that you've learned, all you studied, all you teach, and just releasing yourself into full acknowledgement that that's how I'm feeling, and it's okay, and just surrender to it, and just give yourself total permission to not get it right, to not have a freaking clue. Like that's what I've done. This is what I've kind of circled back. I've come home to myself and I said I'm giving myself full permission to just, I don't know. I don't have the answers. I said to the kids today, I said, you know what? Finding this really hard. I don't have all the answers. I don't know what to do. And they actually, I think, were really relieved with the honesty. They really were quite relieved with the honesty. Lindy's saying better late than never. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Better late than never. And that's really what self-love says too. Yeah, better late than never. So step 1 is to acknowledge how you're feeling. Step 2 is to give yourself a break and give yourself permission to just feel what you feel. No judgment. It just is what it is. But what's wonderful is to when you catch it. Like I knew when I was hiding upstairs with a glass of wine in the bath with Netflix, I knew I was numbing out. I totally knew I was in a numbing out behavioral pattern. I knew it wasn't helping me. It wasn't helping me come up with solutions. It wasn't actually helping me to feel better long term. In the moment it did. In the moment I was like, oh yes, close the door on the kids, close the door on the puppy, close the door on work. I'm just in my bubble. In the moment it did, but it didn't actually set me up to raise my vibration, to raise my energy in the long term. So it's a bit like a sugar fix, yeah? So I knew I was doing that. Self-love invites us to come back to ourselves when we go off track. It doesn't mean we're not going to go off track. It doesn't mean we're going to make bad choices sometimes. But we come back to ourselves through acknowledgement, through giving ourselves a break. And then we choose to support ourselves, to love ourselves enough to raise our vibration, to bring our energy back up. And we do that using our tools. And you have your tools, I have my tools. I'm always sharing and teaching tools with you. If you've been joining my Monday morning 8:30 a.m. ritual, we're always working the tools and setting ourselves up for the week ahead. Now the tools could be anything from today I went out for a walk. I did actually take the puppy with me to I carried him in my arms and introduced him to the traffic and the noises and so on. So it was a win-win. But it's going for a walk. I've booked yoga for tomorrow. I journaled this afternoon. I journaled this morning. I went back to my meditation practice this morning. What is it for you? Is it tapping? Is it breath work? Is it, before I came on this call, I pulled an oracle card. And by the way, let me just share what I got because it's just so relevant. I pulled this card. I've never pulled it before. And knowing that I wanted to kind of share this wisdom with you this afternoon, the card I pulled was the slave dances into freedom. The slave dances into freedom. Let me show you on Facebook first. Can you see that? Yeah. Instagram. Yeah, the slave dances into freedom. And, you know, it says the habit of struggle can become ingrained in us. We perceive stress and threat where there is none because of past experiences, where in reality, in the here and now, it could be very different if we allow it. Learn to think and be in a new way, expecting that things are going to work out for the best for you in all ways at all times. Yeah, it's a really, really beautiful card, but I really felt it. It's like the slave dances into freedom. You know, let me just feel into that to explain why that feels so powerful to me. I feel like when I drop into victim energy, when I drop into shadow ways of reacting to life, that's my slave. It's like I'm a slave to existing in a lower vibration. And that historically has been a habit of behaviour, hence the slavery. But this card is saying the slave dances into freedom. We can release that slave-like behaviour, the slave to our programming, the slave to our conditioning, the slave to our past life experiences. And through full self-acknowledgement, through giving ourselves a break, through loving ourselves enough to work our tools and raise our vibration, we're moving into freedom. The slave dances into freedom. We can dance into freedom. We have to remember to work our tools. And we work our tools because that is what lifts us up. That's what raises our vibration. That's what gives us the ability to deal with change in the long term, not the short term kind of sugar hit fix that we get from our very sophisticated coping mechanisms, whether that's eating, whether it's overworking, whether it's the wine and Netflix, which I go to. We need to work our tools to raise our vibration so that we can handle life in a way that feels really good for us in the long term. Does that make sense? So if you've got any comments or questions on that, I am all ears. But essentially that's where I'm at. You know, our energy is everything. Our energy is everything. I know through working my tools, through coming home to me, through dancing from that slavery, like programming, and moving into the freedom, I can deal with everything that life is throwing at me way better. Yeah. And I can receive the invitation from life. Like, there's a very powerful invitation being offered to me right now, and it's around surrender. It's a beautiful invitation around surrender, which I'm quite excited about, and it's another level of surrender. I've done a lot of work around surrender over the last 3 years, and I can feel I'm being invited into a whole new level of surrender, a whole new level of the feminine, and a whole new level of complete faith and trust in life. Like, there are no mistakes. Life is always supporting me. My ego wants to say it was a mistake to get the puppy. It was a mistake to get the puppy during this sort of lockdown period, because haven't you got enough on your plate with having, you know, kids at home and off school? That's what the ego would say. That's what the mind would say. But my heart and soul, that's connected with the universe and source and all that is, knows there are no mistakes. Everything's meant to be. I'm fully supported. Life is designed to support me always. So while I might be feeling like I'm in a bit of a challenging situation right now, and by the way, I get it, first world problems, it's also an opportunity. There's a beautiful opportunity here that life is inviting me into. And I'm not going to ignore the calling. I'm not going to ignore the calling. So Chris is saying, dance yourself towards freedom. Yeah, right? Isn't that beautiful? And I know there were some other messages. Let me just scroll back on Insta. Sana's saying it happens with me too. It can seem to everyone that I'm living the dream, and even I had thought that this is my dream thing, but then when it comes, life changes and it causes a lot of instability. Yeah, definitely. I get you, Sana. Yeah, beautiful. Beautiful. So I hope that's supportive. I really did want these self-love sessions on a Friday evening to just be really real, to just really kind of just share where I'm at, and maybe where my clients are at if there's relevance. But we don't have to get it all right all the time. We don't have to be perfect all the time. We are never going to have all the answers, and when change comes at us and throws our whole world on its head and feels topsy-turvy, it's gonna feel topsy-turvy for a while. And can that just be okay? Can that just be okay? That's really what I'm taking away this week. Could I love myself enough to just give myself a break and just not have the answers? Lindy saying better late than never. Was me getting onto the chat late. Oh, but what you're saying just shows how we're all human. Shows how we're all in this human experience, and we never can stop using our tools to keep us deepening this experience. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we never can stop using our tools. That's right, we need them. We really need them. Now more than ever, we need our transformational tools. So you got to know what tools you've got in your tool belt. For me, I know it's going for a walk, it's getting out in nature, it's yoga, it's meditation, it's journaling, it's my oracle cards. Those are my number one tools. And when I say journaling, for me, I know that means that's a space for me to have emotional expression. That's a space for me to do forgiveness work. That's a space for me to do my inner child work. It's a space for me to look at my shadows and do shadow work. Like it's a very powerful space of transformation. So we've got to work our tools. That lifts our vibration, that enables us to handle whatever life is throwing at us for an extended period of time. Yeah, so love you lots. I hope today was helpful. I hope you can relate, and share this if you know anybody that needs to hear this message today. And hey Mandy, that's okay. I'm just signing off now. Anyone who needs this, please do share it with them, and have a wonderful weekend. And I will be joining you again on Monday morning at 8:30. Okay, so I'll see you then for our morning ritual. Again, there we are, working our tools. Monday morning ritual, setting the intention for the day and for the week ahead. Sending you lots of love. Thanks for joining today, and have a beautiful weekend. Bye. Bye. Oh, am I? Yep. And goodbye, Instagram. Thanks for joining, guys. Bye.